My name is Christopher Hernandez.
Hi, my name is Shania Grace.
I'm Zahara Durand.
I'm Sebastian Gonzalez.
My name's Alexia Rivera.
I'm Gianfranco Mejia.
I'm Jenna McIntosh.
I'm Marissa Martin. Our demographic is teachers at our school. And what is your biggest regret in life? So for me, I would say my biggest regret is not taking or waiting so long to try other things. I played travel soccer for the last 12 years, but I never tried any other sports until this year, and I wish I would have started sooner.
Yeah, I agree with that, trying different things. And I would say for me, I want to make sure that I don't get in the future in like a headspace where I'm not able to move on and further myself in my career and just like not believe that I can do what I know I'm able to do.
Yeah, to be honest, for me it'd be probably being so hard-headed, trying to do things my way, not taking advice, not set advice, more like orders from the more better like figures in my life. I'd say doing things my own way. Just I don't know. I feel like if I did stuff the way that the other people like said my dad has told me to do it, I'd probably end up like in a better spot than I am now.
I'd say one of my biggest regrets is not like going to my fullest potential as far as dance and stuff like that, and seeing like the opportunities it would have provided me earlier on, and kind of like what Gianfranco was saying about not being so hard-headed. I feel like our parents give us advice a lot of the time, and we don't want to listen, but sometimes like we need that extra push, especially in our younger years. But yeah.
So we're talking about biggest regrets. What do you mean by like biggest regret in career or biggest regret where? Just as of now?
Maybe something like in your future or whatever.
Something you don't want to regret or something you regret currently?
All right. I think in that case, I think one of my biggest regrets as of now is like not reaching out to people like the way I should. You know what I mean? Like I've always been by myself, relying on myself. I think, not reaching out a little bit, asking others for help. That's a big regret. And I think moving forward, I wouldn't want to regret that in the future. So.
I honestly agree with that because I feel like I'm very independent and I don't like asking for help. So I feel like, especially with a lot of resources I have, I do regret not reaching out and asking for help. And also athletically, I wish I never quit dance because I genuinely feel like my potential could have gone a lot further than I thought it could be. So yeah. Oh, and I wish I started track earlier. Yeah, that too.
Me, personally, I think one of my biggest regrets I don't want to have is not being able to explore, like, all of my options. Like, ever since I was little, like, I always wanted to be, like, a pediatrician. So, like, I don't want to get stuck in that, like, mindset that I'm going to be a pediatrician when there's, like, so much more that I could, like, choose from.
For me, I would say my biggest regret is staying at charter and not exploring new options and new opportunities for me. Yeah.
That's a very interesting point.
Where did you have wanted to go?
I got accepted to the FAU high school at the end of 9th grade, and then I was about to go, and then like right before I was supposed to tell them that I was going to go, I decided last minute to stay in charter.
Why?
Because I just thought like if I were to go, I wouldn't really meet people that I knew or that would like be friends with me, because the way it's set up there is like you start to take classes with college kids and not other high schoolers.
So it's basically like college academy. Yeah.
So having friends is important to you, I guess?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, interesting. So, I do want to point out that Miss Pardo had said when she was talking about her regrets that she didn't have any, and oh my god, I'm blanking out. she said she didn't have any, and she kind of just went with the flow in what she was doing. Like, she didn't know what she wanted to be, and because of certain circumstances, like not being able to pay for or provide for what she wanted to do in terms of like being a doctor and stuff. So when she kind of like was exploring certain things or doing something because that's just what could work for her right now, it ended up being what she liked. So what is your biggest regret in terms of your career?
I don't have regrets.
None?
None. I don't honestly have regrets. I think everything that happens in life is supposed to make you learn and supposed to make you grow. So having regrets makes you feel like, oh, I could have, what should have happened? No. And if you continue to live that way, you'll always have that in the back of your mind. So no, I really don't have regrets.
Did you always want to be a teacher?
No, I never knew what I wanted to be.
Oh,
so
okay.
I knew at some point that pediatrician would be there, but I just couldn't pay for med school.
Right.
And then after I finished college, I ended up teaching just to pay the bills.
Right.
And I ended up figuring out this is where I'm supposed to be.
Miss Parda also talked about that, like, having regrets in life, like, consumes you, though, and stops you from carrying on, which I think is something big to talk about because, especially, like, going into the future, like, right now, obviously, we're young and we have a whole life ahead of us, and we can make changes. I think we can still, like, achieve those goals or look back and make changes. But I think, like, definitely having regret does hold you back in a sense. Like, I mean, I can't think of a specific moment, but like, does anybody else? Yeah.
I agree with what you said about how like having regrets can hold you back because it's not something. I think it's fine to have regrets, but it's not something that you should dwell on. It's something that you should take into consideration to learn from, so that you can understand what you should do better in the future for you and for others. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay.
Another opinion was from Mr. Quigley, saying that his biggest regret was not going, like, studying more, not getting another degree in a sense, which also applied to some other teachers, I believe, which I found kind of interesting because he wanted originally to be like a lawyer, but then changed and wanted to become a teacher, to teach teachers how to be teachers in a sense. And he feels kind of like he didn't reach his full potential. And to be honest, I don't feel like that would be like, I feel like he dwells on it kind of because of the way he spoke, the way of the detail of his regret in a sense. And I just feel like dwelling on it, like Chris said, is a major, like, I don't know, hold back, I guess.
Know that this was the conversation we were going to have.
Oh, type snippy. In terms of your career, what do you determine your biggest regret would be?
Wow. Yeah, that's a simple one. That I did not get a degree beyond my bachelor's degree. The one thing that I have not done with my career that I thought that I was going to do, and I was on a journey, it was something that I was working on. It's one of the reasons why I'm at this school, was that I thought I would be spending a good bit of my time teaching other teachers to be teachers. But because I don't have a degree, I don't have a master's degree, I don't have a doctorate degree, people are not willing to allow me to do that. So, and I had people in my life, I had friends in my life saying, you need to get another degree. You need to get another degree. It will open doors. It will allow you to do things. And I was done with school when I was done with college. I never had an interest in getting another degree, but it has limited my ability not to teach, but to work with teachers.
Yeah, I think a lot of those in the education field, especially like in our demographic, teachers, they want to further their education so they can keep teaching education, doing what they love. You know what I mean? It probably applies to athletes. They regret not training earlier or something to, you know, get better at what they're doing right now. Like teachers want to advance, they can get a further degree. I think Miss Lafler was a teacher that I interviewed. She said the same thing, furthering a degree. You know, I think those in the education field are like that. I don't know.
I just found it interesting how like a bunch of teachers like they wish that they taught sooner, and like I think their biggest mistake was what Shania said, not exploring all the possibilities sooner and just like having their mind set on the one thing, so they didn't start teaching earlier. And I just found that like really interesting.
And I honestly feel like a big part that's playing into that is that because they think that they want to, like, at first you usually think if you want to pursue a certain amount of schooling, but most people, like, especially I feel like teachers and athletes, like talking about what Sebastian said, they won't do it because of how time consuming it is or how long it's going to take. So like, let's say you want to get your master's degree, some people don't want to further on those extra 4 years of schooling because they just think they're going to miss out on their oh my god, they're going to miss out on their teaching opportunities, and it's just going to like take up so much time. But then when you look back at it, you realize that if you actually had it, your opportunities could be greater. So I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying too. Does anybody, do you guys have plans to go like further, like past college and get that
Past
back?
bachelor's?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get my
Yes.
master's.
Here.
Yeah, I'm planning on getting my master's. Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on getting my MBA also, but I'm not 100% sure how far I want to go. Like, I want to be in school for that long, but I also don't want to close doors because I didn't go and do that.
I think as of right now, I don't want to get it for the degree, but like if life takes me that way, like I might, you know, go to law school or something like that. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But
I know I'm putting myself in for a very long route, but I do want to go to med school, and attached to that follows residency and fellowship. So that's like another 12 years of schooling upcoming for me. So I know it's going to be a lot, but either way, I do know that the outcomes are going to be, I feel like the outcomes are going to be worth it for now. So I do know like that's definitely something that I want to do.
I agree with Zahara because I also want to go into the medical field, and I want to become an anesthesiologist. So it's like an additional 12 years after like your residency, but bachelor, sorry. But yeah, but moving on to like the next question. Our next question was, what do you think is the most misunderstood aspect of living? And I honestly agree with what some of the teachers said, and they were like, money is like everything. And I think that's honestly really true, because a lot of people think like if they don't have money, they're never going to become anything, when it's like not true. Because like I've heard a lot of stories of people like when they had like literally nothing, and now they make more than someone that had everything when they were like the same age.
Yeah, like relating to like our generation, like I've seen people on TikTok that are like homeless, like living on a bus, but they don't see it as like a negative thing in their life. Like they're still able to travel and stuff. Like I think money is so misunderstood, because like you think you need it, like a house and everything, but really like I think your happiness comes from where you have like a home and like where your heart takes you and everything.
I agree, but I also believe that it depends on like the circumstance of like the household, in a sense. I mean, coming like from personal experience, money I feel is one of the more important things, one of the better things to make someone happy, in a sense, because you can afford the things you want to afford, get the things you want to get the things you need to get, because necessities are like important. But going back to what Jenna said about like her TikTok people like living on buses and stuff, yeah, I see that as like a different viewpoint, but I also believe that money is super important because of like necessities and stuff. Yeah.
Well, what would you say is the most what's like something misunderstood?
Again?
Oh. I understand like that's your opinion on it, but what would you say is misunderstood about life in general?
To be honest, just
Is it that like you don't need money? Like that's
yeah, I guess like the not needing the money is a misunderstanding of life. I feel like needing money is, I guess, like important. Yeah.
So to add on to that, I know Miss Brandt had said that she believed the meaning of success was misunderstood, and she went on to explain how you could have all the money and all the material things you like, but without the happiness, that those material things don't mean anything, and that you can have a small cottage in like a forest or something and that can be your meaning of successful, and you can be just as happy and have a good life with that. And I kind of agree with that, because I think even though you might have all the money you want and all the things like you want to buy, that doesn't mean that there's not still some sort of void that the money can't fill.
Thank you. To go back also to, getting a further degree and like relating it back to us, with you guys going into the medical field, that's also like something huge to think about too, and about how like the money is there, the end result is there, but I think also too that's going to take up like a lot of your life. And obviously if that's something you're passionate about, you'll love doing that, and you'll love that job. And what do they say? You don't work a day in your life when you love what you're doing. But I do think that, not to like veer off of our question about what's misunderstood in life, but going to what's the one question that we had asked about balance. Like it's gonna be like, at least the way I see it, it's gonna be a lot harder to find that balance and to maintain that balance, especially if you do plan on having a family, or just things like that. So.
I understand what you're saying, but I feel like even like especially now in high school, I know how to find like that balance. Like last year, like I had 5 ACE classes and I'm in like 3 sports and like all this stuff, but like I still find time to do things that I like and I'm passionate about, especially when it's like spending time with people or hanging out with friends and all those things. So I feel like even going into like, when you think about going into medical school and everything like that, obviously the money actually can be an issue, but towards the end it won't be because of debt and stuff. No, right, it will. And I feel like college as a whole and grad school and all those kinds of things, it is an experience of life that you do get to like endure on your own. So I feel like there's always going to be the good parts of having that without all the workload. So I feel like you can still have that balance.
Do you think that it would be hard to find that balance as you get older and you have a family and stuff, if that's something that...
Cool, again.
Do you think that balance would be harder to find as you get older and you have a family and there's more responsibilities and stuff that you're going to have to be taking care of?
like, I just feel like agreeing with Marissa, like I feel like the balance, because you were saying like the 5 ACE classes and stuff, but the balance is gonna be so much different like as we get older. Like we're gonna have to balance like buying an apartment, like bills, family. You just never know what exactly like could happen in your life. Like you could get pregnant, like have a baby. Like there's just so many things that could go in the way of like the path that you think you're set on.
I know you wanted to answer first. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I understand what you guys are saying, but I feel like another factor that plays like an important role into like making sure you're able to have that balance is like exploring your options, back to like what I was saying, like the regrets, because like I know some specialties in like the medical field, they require more of your time than others. Like for anesthesiologists, like they work like after they like do all their like prerequisites and everything, they work like 3 shifts a week. So I feel like that's a specialty that I could go into as someone that wants to have a family and wants to still have like ownership of their personal life. So yeah.
And even with that, like let's say you're not going to anesthesiology and you want to do something like surgery, which takes a lot more time, more than anything else. I feel like at the end of the day, when you're worrying about having a house having a family and all those kinds of things. I think it's all about priorities. So it's what you prioritize. So like, yes, you have surgery, yes, you have this, but if you can actually make time for the certain things that you care about and what's important to you, I feel like you're able to balance it. It's like Miss Pardo had said, even when I had asked her how she balances those kind of things for her, she says even if she's teaching law or she has to tutor someone or help someone, she finds time to call her husband, make sure she talks to them so they can have that conversation, whether it's in the beginning of the day or before she has to go see him after school, or even talking to her kids in the morning because she can't see them in the morning before she drops them off to school. It works the same way. So I feel like that's how you can.
So as of now, we're saying that the balance is 50-50 or 60-40. I don't know. What do you guys think about that as of right now?
I think the balance is what you make it. But I want to go back to Chris before we go on to that question.
I think it's just important to put an effort into trying to find the time to do both things. Whether it's 50-50 or 60-40, I think that's up to you. But as long as you find like time to do both, it's something that's very important in life. And when I interviewed Mr. Schwartz, his biggest regret was not finding that good balance for work and personal life and his passions. And he said that's something that is a big, like, very important in life as well, and it's something he wants to improve on.
Next question?
No, go ahead and answer.
Okay, wait, no. I think Miss Lafler said, my teacher, she said that that balance is it's definitely responsibilities first. I think that's what she said, that responsibilities are first, and then obviously you have to fit in, your passion somewhere, but you need to. Like she said that is like, and Miss HD agreed with that you need to find that balance. You can't just be all responsibility, all work, no love. There has to be a balance, I think, and I agree with that. So
I think it ties into what you were saying earlier when we asked about like regrets, and you were saying like relying on more people. So I think that also like ties into like all of our questions, because like you can't just rely on yourself, and like in order to have balance and live like a peaceful life, I feel like you have to know like who you can call on when you need help and be able to identify when you need help.
Okay.
That's also something Mr. Quigley specified on, was that balance, that he said the word contradiction between wanting to pursue your own goals and spending time with others, which I find interesting, the use of the word contradiction instead of balance, because the word, like, it just seems like it's two opposite things. Like, you need to focus on yourself, you need time by yourself, but the best moments of life, according to him, is spending it with other people. Yeah. Sorry.
I'll pass it down after. No, I was just because we're talking about because that was his answer to the misunderstanding of life, though. No, about like that one big misunderstanding is that we find success like on our own, but in reality, we could have that with other people too.
Does anyone have anything else to add on to that question?
I do. Okay. So you were saying how like success doesn't only come with your own, like, in connections that you make is also where you can find that kind of thing. So I guess that ties into another question that we had. It's like, do you think you need certain things in life to be happy? So I guess a lot of people, if they do look for success, like you finding those connections in other people and finding those kinds of things, I guess that's something that you can say that you need. And Miss Pardo had also said that as long as you have, and like Quigley had also said too, like passion, love, a roof over your head, and something to just provide and help you live throughout your days, I feel like those are the certain things that you should need and have. Anyone?
Jenna?
Back talk.
Yeah, like I like what Mr. Quigley said, like with passion, because I feel like the biggest thing about what's the question again?
Needing certain things in life?
Needing certain things in life is like the passion to, like, something to wake you up every day and like keep you going. I feel like that's a big, like, knowing that is what keeps people like living day to day. I feel like that's a big necessity in life.
And it doesn't matter if it's like a person or like a thing or no. It's okay. I mean,
Just point it out.
yeah, okay, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a person or a thing. Like, whether it's someone you love that keeps you waking up every day, or like even if it's like your cat or like a job that you have that you really love. Because I feel like it doesn't matter, because not everyone is gonna be with the family. Not everyone's gonna be in a couple. Like, you don't know whether you're gonna be single or like those kind of things. So
I think it definitely varies person to person.
okay.
And so, what do we need? And so, what's the question again? Sorry.
What do you think? Do you think you need certain things in life to be happy?
I don't know if we answered it. I think we should at least.
Why don't we say what we have in life now that makes us happy?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
that'll
go
work.
ahead. You start us off.
So what I need in life?
To be happy, yeah.
I think something to do every day, for sure. Like, if I'm never not doing nothing, like I'm gonna be sad in my bed. I don't know. Like, I need something to do every day. I like
So what do you have now that makes you happy?
baseball. I think that makes me happy. Doing that stuff every day, doing something to get myself better, because that's what I love to do. I think that's the most important thing right now. I can leave it on that.
My family makes me happy. My friends. School, surprisingly, because even though it could be tough sometimes and it's all work, like, it's our last year, so I feel like, I don't know, it's more enjoyable, and like meeting new people.
I'm surprised with how many people you meet in your last year of high school.
Yeah. Also, things that make me happy, with newspaper and dance, I feel like being able to lead and seeing other people happy and knowing that I'm helping or like teaching new things, that makes me happy. It makes me feel satisfied that I'm being able to pass that on to other people.
Yeah, 100%. For me, it'd be, I don't know, finding something to, like, having a goal. Even if it's short term, long term, having a goal makes me happy in the end, because I don't know, that emotion of success, being able to reach, like, a goal that I had is just, like, very fulfilling to me in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, like picturing my future makes me happy.
That's it?
No going into detail.
There's nothing you have right now that makes you happy, Jenna?
Yeah, maybe I'm a miserable person, but oh my god.
Yes. My loving boyfriend makes me happy.
Huh?
Our closer ones.
Oh, yes.
Sorry. Friends and like going out, like late night runs, make me happy.
Welcome back. We had a little
Technical difficulty. It was Jenna's fault.
Wow.
But,
I concur.
wow. But ultimately, what do you guys think is a good life?
Like I said, fulfilling your purpose, knowing what you want to do, living the life that you want to live.
Like, I know May said purpose, but that can honestly be like. That can honestly be like very like hard for some people to identify what their purpose is in life, because especially for us as high school students, like, do we know our purpose yet? Like, I know I want to be a doctor, but like that doesn't mean like I'm meant to save people. Like, right. Oh, but us as high school students, like, we don't really know what our purpose is, and I feel like our purpose changes every day. Like, today my purpose could be like, I don't know, it's to come here and do the podcast. Tomorrow it's gonna be something different. So I feel like that's a very like hard thing to say that determines like what a good life is.
I think a way to say what a good life is, in terms of like, we know we have to have our passions. We want to make sure that we're surviving. Obviously, being able to have the means to do what we want to do. I honestly think it's living every day to our fullest and making sure that we enjoy every day and making sure that, I don't want to repeat myself, so it's like we love everything that we're doing throughout our day and like pushing forward, whether it's, working through everything. If you have a bad day, you're working through it and like you're looking out towards the ups, and as long as you're making it through and going through what you like doing day by day, I feel like that can help fulfill what's a good life.
I agree with that, but I think that there's a little more to that, and it's having people around you that you love and also love you, so that they're also helping you push through those moments. And even if you have a
bad moment, they can help bring you back up.
To be honest, I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think we'll really know what a good life is until we get to the end of our life, and then we look back on it and we're satisfied, we're happy with the things we've accomplished that we've done. So, I don't know, right now, just go with the flow, I'd say.
I kind of like agree and disagree with that because yes, like maybe we will not know if we lived our life right, if there is a right way to live until maybe like the end of our life. But I feel like a good life for us right now could be like just being happy with yourself. And like yes, like having others is a good thing, but I feel a big part of it is not needing others to have a happy life.
I honestly agree with that because Ms. Chancellor also said something similar. She said that having a peace of mind is what makes a good life. And I think that's honestly true because if you're constantly worrying about what comes next or like what this person's doing or what this person said, like you're always gonna think about that and you're not gonna live your life till its fullest.
Yeah, it's like what Ms. Pardo said about like that survival instinct. That's
Right.
like a misconception.
Like
of
living in the now.
Right. Like that's a big
Yeah.
part.
Like not worrying. That's why I said like live each day to its fullest. Like you're not worrying about what comes next and like what like you're not stressing so much about what's gonna happen. Like oh, what do I have to do about next week? What's going on next month? Like that's why you live every day to what you're doing.
I agree with that. Just like not having to live. I feel like now in high school, it's so hard to like not have that mindset because you have assignments after assignments to do.
Right.
It is.
Especially now with college coming up, I feel like our brains are going a million miles an hour. I mean, for those who are committed and ready to go, like I'm sure that's like a huge weight like lifted off their shoulders, and I'm sure we'll all feel like that once we get to that point. But definitely like just living off survival mode.
Right.
But I also think too, at least for me, like I want to live a life where I can be able to help myself, but also to help others as well. Like, and obviously, I believe the only way you can try to help others is if you can help yourself. If I don't know if that sounds repetitive, but yeah, I want to be able to.
Would you consider that like your purpose in life?
As of right now, that's like the end goal for me. I feel like that would fulfill me. Like I had interviewed, definitely do think that like I had interviewed Mr. Holland. That was like one of his that's what he considered a good life, was just to be able to help others. And at least me personally, I do agree with that to some extent because we can take care of ourselves so much, but like there's also, I feel like there's always going to be that void, maybe at least for me, there would be that void of not being able to like reach out to other people or be there.
Do you guys like really believe like we have like a purpose? Like you feel like we were put on this earth to do something in life?
As of right now, no.
Yeah, like I just feel like we weren't like born to do something. Like I just feel like if you want to like put like a purpose, like our purpose is to live for ourselves. Like,
I feel like your purpose is to make the most of your life.
Yeah,
And
like, I don't
that's
think it's a
And that could be in like whatever way that you believe that is.
yeah.
Yeah, like you make your own purpose. I think that kind of thing. I think that's what Mr. May's talking about. Like it's like definitely something that is dependent on you and what you make a purpose. What you believe is what you hold up. What you believe you want to do every day. Want to feel every day. It's on you. It's not on anyone else.
Yeah.
I feel like our purpose, like back to what I was saying earlier, I don't want to sound repetitive, but like it's determined every day and it's determined by us. Like we set like what we want to do every day, and I think it's like another thing like to having like goals, you know what I'm saying? And like that also ties into like passion. Well, honestly, it also ties into what Dr. Phillips, like we talked in Dr. Phillips' class earlier in the year about like reason and passion, like those both like play a role. And so yeah, honestly, like we determine what our purpose is every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to close out our podcast. Huh?
Are you gonna say subscribe?
Yeah, like and subscribe.
Need more content like this.
No more
Thanks for
bugs.
watching. Yeah, no more bugs.
No more bugs. Bug slaughter.
Go Jags.
Go Jags!